But thank you for being here. My name is John Riggs. I have a YouTube channel. I stream on Twitch, etc., etc. Been doing YouTube for a while. And then Chris over here, GameDad Show, not only has whose channel has exploded in the last 12 months, where this time last year you had about
1,500, I think.
1,500 subscribers, which isn't bad. It's good. I mean, anything over 100 is great, I think. Where are you at now?
About to cross 7,000.
About to cross 7,000 just in the last 12 months, just by putting out videos every once in a while of who knows what. But you find that...
I found it's very easy. Offend an entire fan base and you get a shit ton of
It's really
with Star Wars. It was great.
It's all you gotta do is just find that thing that make people say, "Ooh, I want to comment on this." It's the Howard Stern mentality of I can't wait to hear what he says next, whether I like him or don't like him. I think they like him.
I don't know how many neckbeard comments there were, but there were a lot, and I was like, I just don't want to shave. Like,
yeah. They say neckbeard is like it's like an insult. I know. Adam Korlick is the same way. It's just like, dude, you never have to wear a scarf or anything like that.
Exactly.
Don't have to wear a turtleneck. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a human turtleneck.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me more about you. So you have a YouTube channel that you started a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But what most people may not know is you could probably be blindfolded and kick all of our butts.
Definitely. Just squat down first. And so if you watch my channel, occasionally I'll mention something about it. But I've actually been doing martial arts now for about 23 years and have owned my own school for about 12 years now. So been teaching for 20 plus and had my own place for over a decade now. So yeah.
Now, when you started your own school, did you start as a student at the same school, and then did you beat up the master, and that's how you took the deed? Or
no, man, he's old and he can still wipe the floor with me.
How does that work?
I trained under him. He ended up having to move away because of work and stuff with his family, and I continue. I don't need this. I don't know why I'm holding it. And like you can hear me in the back, right? I tend to be a very loud person, so and continued to train, and I would fly out and test and train with him and stuff. And I started my school by accident.
How do you accidentally start a school?
So my day job is I work for a school district. I do IT, and I happened to start training with one of my old training buddies from back in the day. And we had a really small spot that could fit about 5 people. And I happened to see one of my students from the school district walking by on the playground one day. I was just like, hey, you ever thought about doing martial arts? And within a week, I had a dozen students and outgrew the space. And now, years later and hundreds of students later, and now it bought me a house. So
okay.
That was a pretty nice thing to fall into. It was great.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Do you see it? Do you ever see a resurgence in your? I know we're at a video game convention. We're talking about martial arts now. But do you ever see every once? There seems to be a resurgence for martial arts about every 5 to 10 years. Like they'll, like with all the Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan stuff in the '90s. It was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And now we're talking Cobra Kai. You see Cobra Kai now, and then do you get people who are directly inspired?
There were a few. Mainly, it was my older students trolling me.
Okay.
And then, because you're supposed to say yes sir and things like that. And first class after the first season came out, they're all in class lined up and everything. And I give them the next thing they need to do, and they all scream at me, just like, "Yes, sensei!" I'm like, Jesus Christ. And it's like, all right, I didn't yell at you. You don't need to yell at me.
Yeah. So it's nothing like so.
Yeah, there's always some sort of resurgence. Anytime a new martial arts game comes out, or when the Turtles games came
sure.
out, then everyone's just like, have you ever heard of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? It's like, yes, you Gen Z, I have. But yeah, every few years something new comes out, and then all of a sudden I'll start getting all kinds of inquiries at the school, and I'm just like, well, I don't know what I did in my marketing, but I need to figure that one out.
There you go.
Because it's working.
So you have that on the side, but of course we're at a video game convention, so you have your channel, GameDad Show. Now, tell me the history behind why is your name GameDad? And if it's boring, make it up.
I procreated a lot.
Okay.
So I have 3 littles. We got almost 7, almost 5, and almost 2. And I think mainly started the channel and only got the support from the wife because she just wanted me to shut up.
Okay.
Because I was constantly talking. Oh, I'm feeling that. I was constantly talking about video games, which she could not give a rat's ass about.
Okay.
So it's just like, am I fine?
Yeah.
But so she's just like, why don't you just start a channel or something? You never shut up about it anyways. Just talk about all your stuff, but talk to other people.
There we go.
So started doing that and just showcasing all of my original videos. Please don't watch them. But they were all parted out and going through everything in the collection. So I have several thousand games, and nobody's ever challenged me on it, so I'm going to keep saying it. But I have the largest game collection in Monterey County.
Okay.
No one's ever challenged me on it, and if you do, let's fight.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just started showcasing all of the games. It started gaining traction, and eventually, I'm sure, as with most of you, you found a little channel called Metal Jesus. I started watching stuff, and then I saw Riggs on there, and he was a gigantic nerd, just like myself.
There we go.
Not because he's a big nerd, but because he's a big.
Yeah, we're both in that kind of 6.5 feet club here. So.
Yes. So then started watching his stuff more, and over the years, him and I we become friends, and just started coming and hanging out at cons, and
yeah.
I've been a very large shadow, and then now people see me.
There you go. Well, I mean, you're not hard to miss.
It's true. It's true.
No, it's funny because we would just go to the same conventions. It's like, oh, it's this guy again. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of you see the Mortal Kombat guys, and we see them a couple times a year. And it is that I hate to say community. Everyone says community, but it does become that kind of like, oh, it's the same. You kind of go to the same towns and you see the same people, and you see the same guests that are being flown in or invited in to these things, and it's like, oh, you just become that guy again.
Yeah. So legit, if you didn't know all the Mortal Kombat guys out there, they are actually legit martial artists. I know Daniel Pacina as Master Pacina.
Right.
Because, you see them all here, and it's all video games and
smiling and
oh my God,
joking around.
And
no, he's
larger than life, especially with Kung Lao and the Scorpions.
All right,
that's pretty nuts. You can take bets on when the shirt will come off and a backflip will happen on stage.
All right.
But with all of them, they all train outside and do seminars and stuff. I forget his first name off the top of my head, but the guy that was Shang Tsung, he's a legit doctor.
Oh, Philip.
Yeah.
He's in Chicago. He's a licensed physician. It's he wrote a book about it, actually.
So,
the books are for sale out there.
I mean, who knew how much martial arts was actually in video gaming? But
funny that.
Yeah. But no, it's just been fun hanging out with people, meeting new people, and now I think this is the 3rd or 4th time I've invited to be a panel, and I finally wasn't sick. So that was
true.
Great. Yeah.
Yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's why we booked it early today.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Just do it now. Get it over with.
Yeah, I'll be floored later.
And then, especially at Coin Op, when we're at Coin Op later on. At the after parties at Coin Op, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, Coin Op.
Partner, are we allowed to start yet?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool.
All right, we're gonna set the clock now.
All right, but enough about me.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk about me for a change.
Yeah. So, as you can see, he has a face for radio. No.
Yes.
So, literally a radio DJ.
Right.
The Sunday.
I could, yeah. I do a lot of those promotional advertisements or advertisements. If we have any UK people here, we have.
It's aluminum.
It really is. Yeah, aluminium. What? Yeah, been a radio programmer. Been a radio broadcaster for 21 years, and that was just kind of my thing. I mean, of course, the video games were always there too. But I was
This was with or without the dreads?
This was with the dreads. The reason it's a true story. I had dreadlocks for a moment, about 6 months of my life, because I was also the guinea pig on our radio station. Anytime there's a new business in town, I still go to it first whenever I can. But we had a new hairstylist in town that really wanted to focus on, because it was 2001. Wait, no,
really into corn.
late late 2001, early 2002, we had a new hairstylist in town that really wanted to focus on their hair extensions and doing weaves and stuff like that because it was
fake.
Believe it or not. Yeah, I did not grow my hair that long that fast, and I had more hair on top than I do. I mean, somebody going to the chair has more hair than I do. But there was someone in town, and that's what they wanted to advertise their business. And I was just like, well, I'll do that, sure. So I went in there. I literally have photos of myself. I could share them or find them if you're that curious to see it. I can show you on my phone later. But yeah, I had the white boy hair extensions.
Trench coat. Everything.
I had a trench coat. Yep. I had my eyebrow pierced because I thought it was cool for guys to get their eyebrow pierced back. I mean, you have gauges, but I mean, I had.
This is way cooler. Sorry.
It is, and still in fashion. Guys with eyebrow piercings, maybe, I don't know.
Anytime I get a little kid, they're just like, why do you have holes in your ears? It's aerodynamics.
Yeah. Everybody does, don't they?
Yeah.
You're hearing me now. No, so been a radio broadcaster for 21 years. Still am, mostly behind the scenes now. I'm no longer on the air live, but I used to be like the live morning show guy. I was the live afternoon guy. I've done every format. Most of my experience comes from pop music, believe it or not, like Justin Bieber and all that. But I was the afternoon guy on a rock station for a while. I did mornings on a country radio station for a while.
Ew.
The good news is, well, you say that, but the good news is for me in the studio, I can turn the audio off. I don't care what the music's playing. I don't care about the song.
Yeah.
I'm just here to talk about what's happening this weekend. It's local radio, so it's always like, well, here's what's happening this weekend. Do the news, whatever, that kind of stuff. And I was our news guys too, just on our news talk station format for a while. But mostly, behind the scenes now. And I do commercials like around the country too. So not in Sacramento, unfortunately, but we have the corporation I work for. We all share audio, so I'll do commercials in Buffalo, New York. I'll do commercials in wherever. I had one person from Casper, Wyoming, of all people, say like, are you the same John Riggs that's also on the radio here, that's on the radio there? So I was like, yeah, it's the same one. I used to live in Casper for a few months too.
So
but fun times.
Have to record a new tagline for every city?
I used to, I would just, all the computers are networked.
Oh, okay.
So in my studio, and I have my own little studio at the radio stations. I can record from there and be local in Yakima. I'm from Yakima, Washington. Or I can also kind of pre-record it and it'll come down the pipeline and so much radio now. I mean, sorry to pull the curtain back, but it's like with all media. Television, radio, newspaper, it's all consolidation. People who are local are maybe not local. They might be from the town next door, but they're sharing, like we have like our number one weatherman in Yakima is not even from Yakima, but he used to be from there, but he's from somewhere else, so he knows how to speak the lingo. You can usually tell, especially around here, and this would be a good area too. You can tell who's local or not by how they pronounce like city names, or street names, stuff like
It's
that.
like the California accent. Did you know that Californians have an accent?
California has an accent. Did you know this?
You don't know how to pronounce the letter T. What do you call this city? Somebody. Sacramento. Yeah.
Sacramento.
It's not Sacramento. And now you're like, holy shit, I have an accent. I saw
The T
that
is silent.
on a YouTube short or a TikTok or something. I'm like, bullshit, we have an accent.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah, Monterey, Sacramento. I'm like, oh my God, we do.
Yeah. Sacramento. I can't say Sacramento. Can't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When did you start your channel? I don't even know when you started it.
Looking at the date of when I first the very first video I ever uploaded to YouTube, I think was like 2008. And it was because I used to use YouTube as a way to upload videos of my kids to send to my parents. Because with my dial-up modem or whatever it was at the time, I didn't want to upload a video. That would take forever. So it wasn't dial-up, but I was just in lieu of us emailing a video file, I'd put it on YouTube, send them the link. There you go.
And now your phone. Why isn't my 12K video uploading yet?
I started the very first video I posted on my channel was like November it was like 8 years ago. But I didn't really take my channel seriously, like actually posting consensual videos. And I'll just post whatever I wanted. It would be a video about, hey, this new cereal came out. It would be, hey, check out this Speak and Spell. Whatever. Had no rhyme or reason to it. It was just, here's stuff I'm nostalgic about. Here you go. Until I started noticing that my video game stuff was doing a lot better than my cereal stuff about my random toys from the 80s. Nobody cared.
People like serial killers, man.
But people were clicking on the video game stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just post the videos about people clicking on video game stuff. and then just kind of went from there. So I didn't actually take it seriously until maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. But
yeah, you can tell when the shift in the mindset changed.
Right.
You went from like you were stagnant around what, like probably 75K or something, like, that small amount.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it was just like, the numbers just started skyrocketing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And this is, and especially if you have a YouTube channel or starting a YouTube channel, that's what I noticed as well. Is when I started going to conventions. Usually, you're talking about the shadow. I was the shadow of Metal Jesus because I was on his channel too. I was on his channel first. When you watch our first videos together, Metal Jesus is like, well, where can we find you on the internet? It's like, oh, I think I'm on Twitter. That's about it. I didn't have a YouTube.
Large man.
I didn't have a YouTube channel to promote at the time, and so it wasn't until then, until going to conventions, when I started doing like the open cart surgery stuff. I started doing unboxing videos with my kids as a reason to bring my kids on my channel because they wanted to be on YouTube. The two compliments I'd always get were, I like it when you fix broken video games. I like it when you have your kids on your channel. Perfect. I'll give the people what they want. And I'll do nothing but open cart surgery and nothing but unboxing videos with my kids. And that's when I noticed that my subscribers flattened because it was the same people, the same audience, the people who say, "Hey, I love this thing." I was giving the people what they wanted, which is what the Gabo. Hey, this guy. You come up. What are you doing out there?
I don't know.
Bring your ass. Come here. Have a seat. But that's what I noticed. My channel was flat, and I stayed around that 75,000 because that's when I started getting invited to conventions.
Hey, baby.
And then started to, ladies and gentlemen, Gabo the Giver. Yeah, you're a somebody. You have your own panel coming up? Tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, so I'm glad you're here today.
It's gonna be like 2 people, but it's cool.
No. You, if you're here tomorrow, come to Gabo's panel too.
That's
if you
right.
guys come to my panel, you're gonna be in my next video. I'm planning to do something crazy. Dude, do you see the hat?
I saw the hat.
I wonder where he got it. Bend, Oregon, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh,
The last.
So you was the guy?
It was.
and then I got made fun of by my wife because I was like, I got my Blockbuster membership and the hat. She goes, "You're an idiot."
But you're still wearing the ring. How did that work out?
Yeah. After all that,
Bro,
What do you got?
Do you saw that guy over there?
which guy?
Dude,
How can you miss this guy?
look at that. That's so sick, bro.
Look at you.
You make me blush.
As I was saying,
Hey, don't get me wrong. Your chair is freaking awesome, too.
What? Me?
Yes.
Of course. Come over here. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm leaving. Thank you so much.
anytime, man.
Thank you.
All right, well-
This guy is freaking awesome. That guy is too. I have to be honest. He's sexier than you.
Okay.
But you're sexy, dude.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Gabo. You never know who's going to come in. You never know what's going to happen. But when I noticed my channel was flat, and I didn't mind, but I was like, well, what happened? I stopped gaining subscribers. That's looking at, and then you look at your analytics, and that's when you realize, oh, it's because what the people wanted was what the people who were already there wanted. I don't know if you know Mark Rober, his huge YouTube channel. He once said, I don't make videos for my subscribers. I make videos for other people to find them too. Their subscribers will already be there. They already found them, then they already like you enough to subscribe. So that's why I was like, okay, well, I'll expand a little bit more. I'll start talking about, a bunch of Nintendo games that no one's ever heard of, or this, that, or the other. And that's when I started getting my subscribers back. Funny that. But I still like doing the open cart surgery videos. Still like, my kids are older now. I mean, they're all in high school, so it's like, they're always doing their own thing. They're not really.
God, you're old.
I know, so old, so old. That's all that works out anyway. But we have plenty of time here.
I don't know how much time we were given at all.
45 minutes, I think. We've done about 5 minutes.
45 left?
No.
Oh, I was like, I am sorry.
We do not need to maximize the time, too. We'll hang out as long as we need. But just a basic Q&A. If you have any questions for Chris over here with his schooling or IT or martial arts or gaming or restorations. One of the videos I saw him that really popped off early in his channel was he took, it was the most beat up Simpsons arcade cabinet.
Nasty.
It was, there's the story. What was the story about the boat from like the WandaVision, where it's like if you replace the things one at a time, is it still the original or whatever? Yeah, he replaced so much of it that it looks newer than new, and it's insane.
Bondo's amazing.
Yeah. Or any questions for me and my side of things, I'm happy to question. But go for it, my friend.
Was it hard to put the video game cabinet together to get it working?
So, it was really hard to get it working. Local game store in the area. I had a bunch of consoles that I'd done restorations on, and the owner was like, "Hey, I got something you might be interested in." He's like, "It's an arcade machine," and he knows I have an unhealthy obsession with collecting crap I don't have room for. So he's like, "Come over, come check it out." So I check it out, and I was like, "Dude, is this even working?" I'm just gonna be loud. I can't do that. So I go over, and I was like, "Dude, you didn't tell me it was a freaking Simpsons arcade machine." Okay, I was just like, "Yes. Take this crap I'm probably never going to sell, and I will take that." And it was filthy. He had cats, so it was filthy. And I, in restoring it, discovered that the entire box that the control panel sits on was no longer in existence. And it was actually the most difficult part of it was finding the original blueprints for the Simpsons arcade so I could get the correct measurements and rebuild the box. Overall, like, it needed some woodwork and like filler and stuff like that, but the game itself was fine as soon as I cleaned it. It was filthy. I mean, it had like a solid like 1/8 layer of dust all over it.
Ooh.
So cleaned the whole thing out.
And cat dander.
Oh yeah, yeah, dander. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Definitely not anything that causes rust.
Oh.
And then after that, I found some cool places that do like aftermarket, like vinyls and all that kind of stuff. So redid all the artwork on the entire machine. And if you guys have ever applied like a sticker to a phone or something like that, and if you've had trouble with that, it's going to be a lot more frustrating because those things are freaking huge, man. Because what you see on the artwork is not just that size. It's about 1.5 feet wider on each side and about 1.5 feet taller on each side. So you got to line everything up, and then you got to go cut it all out. And if you get a bubble, well, that sucked, and now you need to buy a new one because it's ruined. But yeah, I mean, it was mainly just clean it up, rebuild the things that were missing from it, and then what I did in the actual testing, because I had to gut the whole machine in order to clean it. I had it all laid out on the floor in my game room. So it's like the power supply sitting over here, and it's like daisy chained over to one of the joysticks, and there's some buttons wired over here. The CRT was off to the side, and it's like, okay, please work. I did a lot already. And flick the switch on it, and I just like start to hear the hum of the CRT. I'm just like, oh, but it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And finally, the screen popped up, and I'm just like, I'm awesome. All right. But
Quite
I
a
would
process.
say, like, this was peak COVID time, so especially in the IT field, everyone working from home. So I was definitely working, if anyone asked. And I took it was probably about 3 months, and I was able to completely restore the machine, and now it looks brand new. So that was really cool. And what's really cool, if you don't know about the Simpsons arcade machine, is it is also a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles machine. So it is the exact same cabinet. They just slapped a different vinyl on it. So you go in, and you can just mount a TMNT board on the inside of it. All you got to do is move one cable harness over, and now it's TMNT. So
Did you do that too?
I want to, but damn, those are expensive.
Okay.
Like just the board itself is like another $800.
Okay.
I was like, that's cool someday.
Yeah. But you have the whole process on your channel too.
I did from start to finish the whole process of getting it and all the different steps and restoring it. And the number 1 comment is how much the music sucks on that video. So just mute it.
Okay.
That way I don't get more complaints. Yeah.
Go for it. Yes. Open cab surgery. You can take it. Yeah.
I mean, I was like stealing that.
Yeah. You should. You should. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to ask you, since you came out with a really cool cereal book
Right.
recently, if you could only eat one cereal in the entire world, what would it be?
Oh, like for the rest of my life?
The rest of your life.
Don't pick something lame like Life cereal.
No, I mean, You know, it wouldn't be Count Chocula. Cinnamon Life's not bad, but it gets soggy super quickly. You know, I still, as much as I love the gimmick cereals that come out, they average about 20 new breakfast cereals a year. And most of them are limited edition. Most of them are just for the season, for the summer, for Christmas, for Halloween. And then they're gone. And then you'll find it at grocery outlet for like 99 cents, a couple months later. But I still go back to the classics. Like for me, it's always, Frosted Mini Wheats. If I had to choose one cereal for the rest of my life, probably Frosted Mini Wheats. But I mean, like Apple Jacks, Frosted Flakes, even just Rice Krispies. I don't add sugar to it or anything. Just the standard. I was thinking about cereals I grew up with, and my favorite breakfast cereal of all time from the late '80s was ice cream cone cereal. But you start thinking about these things, and it's not that we want the new thing. We just want to feel young again. And so I was thinking, like, oh, they should bring that back. Well, a lot of people don't know this. They did. And it lasted about 6 months to a year, and it wasn't the same. So if they did bring it back, it wouldn't be the same. And the cereals change recipes along the way, too. There was a time in the late 80s where they were very big on, like, no tropical oils, because there was some news story once that was like, oh, coconut oil is terrible for you. Well, that was the trend back then. Mm-hmm. So you'll see that a lot of things like that, too. But especially when they changed the recipe, you can look up like what Count Chocula was back in the 80s to what it is now. Two different cereals. It's the same reason why same reason why Cookie Crisp doesn't taste the same was because when it was Ralston, Ralston was the best for gimmick cereals. Unfortunately, when Ralston sold to General Mills, then that's when everything becomes cheap.
And they got rid of the burglars on it.
They got rid of the burglars. I know.
That was the whole point, man.
God. Yeah. What was it? They literally Cookie Crisp and like the Hamburglar. They really glorified criminals.
That's right.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's cool to be bad. We didn't even realize this.
Yeah.
I'd be that guy when I grow up. He's getting all the free stuff. Well, you always get caught, I guess, at the end, but man, what are you going to do? So, yeah, mine would be Frosted Mini Wheats. What about you? If you had to choose.
Okay,
Weetabix.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about...
Weeda what?
It's from the UK.
Yeah, it's a bale of hay.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm just
One of those people.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of great cereals for the UK, though. We have General Mills, but almost every other country has Nestle as a brand. Same with Canada. I mean, in Canada, we have Cocoa Puffs, and they have Nesquik cereal. That's just chocolate.
In Italy, the Nesquik cereal, every time I've gone,
Yeah.
I've asked my family, get the Nesquik cereal.
Right.
And for some reason, it's so good.
It just tastes better. Well, and it's because they don't have our USDA standard is not up to par with a lot of other countries.
Really?
That's what. Yeah, believe it or not,
Grade A was good.
they have because we're using our alphabet, not theirs.
Oh.
When you use like the Russian alphabet, which has like 32 characters and a backwards R and the X with the line through. Yeah. We have, or even from Canada too. But when you go to Canada, that's why, like Hershey with almonds. The Hershey bar in Canada is just going to be better than the Hershey bar in America because it's so full of preservatives to last on shore shelves longer.
The Hershey bar in America.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, when you find out what other chocolate is anyway, for sure. But you see that a lot with cereal too. Just like in other countries, if you have it here too, at least in my town, our Walmart. Not the cereal aisle, but like the Hispanic foods aisle. The Hispanic version of Frosted Flakes, the Zucaritas, as well as I think they call them Choco Krispies, maybe for the Cocoa Krispies. It's 100 times better than what we have for our cereal.
Have you ever had a Mexican Coke?
What's that?
Oh God.
It comes in a box. It's a much bigger box too. But yeah, like the Mexican Coke in the glass bottle and everything.
Oh, I'm excited, man. When we get, yeah.
The Coca-Cola is great too, but if you find the Mexican Coke, then
One of my students, every school break or anything from the studio, his family always goes down to visit another family in Mexico. And the last time, he definitely became my favorite. He brought me back a bunch of little like mini Mexican Cokes.
Oh, there you go.
Like, oh, it's even in Spanish. This is great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I live in my town is like 50% Hispanic population, and half of that is Spanish only speaking. So we have like we have a lot of that in our town anyway. But especially in the UK, I mean, there's so many great cereals in the UK. Like we don't have Shreddies. I love Frosted Shreddies, but
Shreddies.
we don't have it here. It's like Life but better because instead of it being whatever Life is made out of, which might be corn flour, yeah, maybe. It's like a malted wheat, so it has a bit of density to it, I guess. There's an ungerness to it that you don't just get with because like Fruity Pebbles is great, but you can eat the whole box and still be hungry. There's nothing to it. It's just like rice that just evaporates. So anyway, I'm talking way too long about cereal. I could go on. I could go on and on. Like I said, I wrote a book about breakfast cereal like the 80s and 90s. I can talk about cereal. I'm as nostalgic for cereal as I am video games.
But
so
you were even recognized by, was it General Mills that sent you the stuff, or was it Post?
I've gotten stuff from both. I mean,
The one they sent you a custom bowl with your name and a spoon that said cereal killer.
oh yeah, that was General Mills. So I've done some promotional stuff with them and Kellogg's, but not as much Post anymore. I wonder if the guy's not even there anymore. I don't know, but it's fun. It's fun. All right, more questions, maybe about video games. Hello.
Hi. So, if there's one thing I appreciate about both of your channels is that you get to go around various game conventions, and because you do that, you get to showcase the game cultures across the entire country. Now I'm thinking, what if you went global to Europe, Japan, Latin America?
If you're offering, I mean, I'll go. Yeah.
I'd like to. I hadn't got out that far. Oftentimes with conventions, like in my case, in full transparency, yeah, they flew me out here. They covered my flight, could put me in a hotel. Perfect. I'll hang out for the weekend. I'd love it. And most conventions do that too. I don't ask for a talent fee. I don't ask for. And like some Comic Cons will do that. So Comic Cons will be like, we'll put you in whatever in penthouse and we'll get you this much money to spend while you're there. It's like, I don't need all that. I'll just show up and hang out. I am planning on hopefully hitting up my first con in the UK in 2023. Hopefully. And there's even a couple of them in Canada. And Canada would be a quicker flight, I think. But I've also never been to the UK, so I'd love to go.
You
And
just walk like a mile north of Canada.
I'm not that close. I do have a passport though, but I am planning on. And and Japan is a huge market, of course, for video games and
Oh man, I'd love to go to Japan.
for people to go there. But also in Japan, they don't really have like.
I won't fit in Super Potato.
They don't. No, I don't think either of us will. They'll be like Godzilla and run away. We'll be. In Japan, there's all the game stores and everything, the book off, the hard off. I better make sure I'm saying it right. Things like that. But they don't have like retro game conventions in Japan, which is odd when you think about it. I think it's because they're like, we don't even care.
And see if we can get Chuhai to bring us out for like a game launch.
No, well, and they do have gaming conventions in Japan, like the Tokyo Game Show and all that, which Chuhai is a part of. So wouldn't it be something? But if I'd love to hit it up again, and I know Metal Jesus is planning another Japanese, trip to Japan, and our Whatnot friends, General Malice, he just came back from Japan with, I think 50. It was something like, what was it? It was like 50. It was like 50 boxes of 50 pounds worth of stuff to bring back for his store, for his shop, for his Whatnot,
so
for his
he has
whatever.
a Sendico membership. All right.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get that crap.
He said it was in the neighborhood of like $3,000 just in shipping but good for him. If that's your job, it's what you do. For me, I'll just go there as a fan and be like, spending money out of my own pocket.
Wow, look at all these boxes. Okay,
yeah, and the food too. I love the food, so I'll be eating my own sushi cats or whatever you have in your. Yes,
But
sir.
yes, we would both love to.
Yeah, hoping.
So I have a question for both of you.
Uh-oh.
If you were both going to start a brand new podcast,
Oh.
what 3 co-hosts would you pick for your podcast? And John, it can't be anybody from the Metal Jesus squad.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to go
That's
with.
literally all he knows.
What retro creators would you have co-host on your podcast with you? You could pick anyone.
I'm not a part of the crew.
That's true. If I was gonna, I've had people ask me, it's like, oh, you should start a podcast. You're a radio guy. You're in front of microphones all day.
Dude,
That would be amazing. I watch you on Twitch. So
Yeah.
I love watching your stuff.
And I've thought about that too, where it's like if I had a podcast, I wouldn't want to just be me talking for an hour. I would want to have other people there too. And then it's always like I have a local friend of mine that we're such great friends that I literally haven't seen him in person in the last 3 years. Even though we live like 2 miles away from each other. But during the pandemic, nothing happened there. Both of our wives are autoimmune, so we had to stay clear of that. But along the way, he had a child who's now like walking and talking and stuff. It's like I've never even seen him in real life. But I want to have him on it. He did have a YouTube channel, which didn't really go anywhere. He just put it up there for his art. But him and I do we're like booth spouses. Like when we go somewhere, we'd always travel together. We'd always have a booth together in the same place.
Am I the other woman?
Ooh, wait a minute. The mistress? Wow. Any three? Let's see. I mean, if I had to choose any three, it'd probably be, and you might say the same thing, but I mean, we also have, Metal Jesus crew aside, we have a circle of friends ourselves, so it might be the two of us, along with Gary, Rock Solid Productions, and Jay, who's Square Pegs. And I'd love to have Thor on there, too. Thor has
He's a legit, genius level electrical engineer.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
And because I was dumb, now it's a running joke that he's a Greek god, even though Thor was not Greek.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
But his name literally is Thor.
Yeah.
And he's a guy from the UK who speaks with an American accent.
I didn't know he was from the UK until 2 years into being his friend.
You would never know he's from the UK, but he just happens to, which is another story it's his story to tell. But when he moved here, he was kind of almost forced in a way to speak not from the UK, just for better opportunity.
He's in the deep south, and they didn't like that he's different.
Yeah, that's basically what it came down to. But it'd be us, because I mean, we hang out at conventions anyway, Midwest Gaming Classic, and we all have something new to bring to the table. Jay comes from the gaming industry, worked for EA for years, and Gary's just kind of the other guy. So it's
yeah, I would say either of them, anyone in our chat. Any of those people. If it was people outside of that, two people that I never have a problem talking to are Alex Fasciani and Ian Ferguson. Those two dudes, man, they are so freaking chill.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Ian already.
I will totally talk with Pat. I don't know about a podcast.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that I would not be able to hold my own against Pat. So.
Yeah, well, and Ian has another podcast too, the Extra Napkins, which we just talk about food, which is great. So, yeah, and Alex is always chill anyway, so I dig his stuff. It's a good question, though. I never thought about that. Have to do it sometime. There you go, and you'll get 10%. Nice.
Zach.
It's a loaded question.
This is a question to each of you. What was the biggest single obstacle you guys faced in creating your YouTube channel? What would you say gave you the biggest?
The CAPTCHA when it confirms it's you? No.
Yeah, true.
Just in general, in having a channel in the first place, or
getting out of your own way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more personal, but my biggest hurdle for me doing anything is I have a son with autism. So I have to work around his schedule, because if he's having a meltdown or if he's unpredictable, sometimes he'll pop in the frame and I'll just leave it in there. But sometimes if something's going on, I need to stop everything I'm doing to attend to his needs. So for me, that's why a lot of times in my videos, I'm either recording way late at night or during the school day, so depending on if it's either light or dark in the background. It's literally, you see my curtain that's literally pinned to the ceiling because my curtain rod's breaking and I'm super cheap and I don't want to replace it, even though it was $5 at Walmart. I was just like, I'll prevent it by taking a thumbtack and pinning my curtain to the ceiling, and it's been like that for years. So for me personally, once that's out of the way, I mean, again, I have the radio background where I do radio commercials, and I edit my videos like I edit audio for commercials, where I just remove all the breaks, remove all the pauses, edit over everything, let the games do the speaking, and done. So for me, it's just when I have all the pieces, easy to do, but recording my element where there's not someone mowing the lawn in the background, which has happened a few times, or with my son's, thing. That's my biggest hurdle anyway.
See, I think for me, I went from lazy ass teenager to apparently a workaholic. I work about 80 hours a week right now, and then every time I get used to whatever that is, I tend to find something new to add to that, because there's infinite hours in the day.
Is there?
Totally.
Okay.
The most recent thing is I'm super into embroidery now. That's weird, I know.
Yep.
But
that's my wife.
Yeah.
Wait.
But I got tired throughout the pandemic for my martial arts school. I got tired of waiting on companies to send me products that I had to pay way too much money for. And there was one thing, I needed some patches. And they charged me more for the patches than they ever had. It was like $600 for 100 patches. And they told me, oh yeah, it will take about 2 months. And it's like, okay, well, they got to make it in China, ship it over cargo container, whatever, fine. Almost a year later, I still didn't have them. So I went from, I'm ordering these now because I'm about to run out, to now the order that's coming in was already not going to be enough. So I started doing research, and I ended up buying a legit, like, actual industrial commercial embroidery machine. So it's a single head 15 needle machine.
How much?
$13,500.
Oh my goodness.
It's fine though. It was to save money.
Make your money back on this thing.
Yeah.
You'd be working overtime.
Yeah, huge learning curve. Not so much with the machine. I mean, if you've ever used a sewing machine, it's an embroidery machine is a sewing machine with extra steps. But the software was a huge pain. But now it's gotten to the point where for several YouTubers, including him, he has hats coming soon.
Yay.
Making like hats and merchandise, and I'm super not using it for the original thing that I got it for, was making my studio patches. And like one of my buddies that owns another school about an hour from here, he needed a bunch of uniforms as like a Christmas special thing for a bunch of his students. So that was my normal 80-hour work week, plus working about an extra 4 hours a night over the past week to get all these uniforms done to deliver to him tomorrow. But super long roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah. My obstacle with videos and when I started the channel was I always take on more than I can chew, and I end up like diving headfirst into it. Consequences be damned. So
There we go.
yeah, just
All
get
right.
out of your own way.
Got enough time for like one more question. 2 more questions. We'll do you first. I saw your hand pop up first.
Yes.
We've been having a discussion on the way up here on who was the greatest movie martial arts star. I was saying Jet Li. He was saying Steven Seagal. We were wondering if you wanted to weigh in on this.
What the
Well, you heard the audible eye roll. I did-
Uncle Raja disappointed. No.
I didn't think you could hear an eye roll, but I
I'm going to use the mic so that it's
Well,
crystal
I mean,
clear
like,
that you were
well-
both wrong.
when you think about money per, like, how much money Steven Seagal's movies have brought in versus how much money, but then with Jet Li, then you're also talking about the Chinese market. I
They didn't
suppose.
say the most financially successful martial arts action star.
Okay, they're talking about just the best.
You goddamn right, it's Bruce.
Bruce?
Bruce Lee is the most gifted martial artist to ever grace this planet. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
Bruce Lee never made a movie with BMX.
See,
Yeah, so that's another positive for him. So, literally, my favorite quote of all time is a Bruce Lee quote. It's even in my email signature. And it sums up his attitude towards martial arts training as a whole. Because those of you, if you don't know, like I could talk about Bruce Lee all the time. He actually was a circus performer. And then he came to the States because he was getting really big in Chinese theater and everything. Came to the States to become an actor. And boy, did he suck. So then he went back home, he honed his craft, came back, and lo and behold, Green Hornet. But
that's your quote, lo and behold, Green Hornet?
no.
Okay.
So his quote is...
Take the money up front.
Yeah.
Okay.
I excuse me.
He's getting choked up over this. That's how powerful it is.
I fear not the man that has practiced 10,000 kicks at once, but I fear the man that has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And that's was his entire philosophy in life and acting and everything else. It's make yourself very, very good at one thing. Do not make yourself very, very bad at several things. So, jack of all trades, master of none. Instead, it was master of one thing. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen photos of him in peak training. When the dude, he literally has like freaking wings coming out because he's so freaking ripped.
Right.
But anyways, no, you're both wrong. Seagal is fat, old, and overrated. And dude, he was good in exit wounds. That's it. And that was all DMX. No.
I like the Steven Seagal thing. Like, what's the martial art like video that's going around where it's like he barely blocks someone and like touches them and they all flip out of the way and what's that
because
style?
he's a dumbass with his chi balls.
Okay.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
I like how you're talking about the
Getting me triggered, man.
the master of whatever, and like the practice one kick 1,000 times or whatever. But you work 80 hours a week. You just got an embroidery machine. You got your YouTube channel. You got 3 kids. You know.
Yeah, so it shows how hard he worked out because I am fat, man. And Jet Li, don't get me wrong, he's good, but he used wires. I'm sorry, it was fake. He couldn't fly. Yeah.
I like Jackie Chan. So.
Jackie Chan's amazing, but just as a person.
Okay.
So wise choice. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, we gotta get out of here. Last question.
All right. So when starting up a YouTube channel, because I'm sure there's probably people in here that are interested.
Sure.
What minimum equipment would you need to start?
I reached over 100,000 subscribers just using my phone and nothing else. All you need, like, just clean audio and good lighting. And I've said that in my videos. I'm not kidding. The reason I'm sitting in my kitchen is because it has the best lighting in my whole house.
That was literally the one thing my wife told me. She's like, look, I'll support you starting a channel, but you need to get yourself some lights because I hate channels with piss poor lighting.
Yeah.
She's like, they look like shit. It doesn't matter how good the video is.
Just like a halo light?
Yeah, I mean, I just
get a little ring light that just like clips right here and just will shine at
yeah.
you.
I just use the kitchen. I just use the light that's attached to my ceiling fan, and I have like I like these kind of lights in the kitchen as well.
Don't do a fluorescent; it'll flicker.
Yeah, that's true. That's literally all it was. And then later on, sure, then you can maybe upgrade your. I've since upgraded my camera, but I still a lot of times I'll still use my phone for like open cart surgery, just because it's like I'm filming here, then I'm filming here, or at a convention. I don't bring my camera to the convention. You know, like Reggie,
Still on iMovie?
Reggie from Metal Jesus just uses his phone for editing too. And yeah, I use iMovie because it's free, and I have a little. I'm a PC guy, but I have a MacBook, and iMovie's free, so I just got used to that. And it's just the videos I do, super simple editing. You know, it just bring out your personality and talk about whatever you're passionate about, and that's really about it. Yeah, especially if you're just now starting to do tons of shorts. It's a great way to build a quick audience. It really is.
Quick,
yeah. I do shorts more now. I did a little bit when they first came out, then I stopped doing them. Now I'm doing them again.
And remember, piss off a fan base.
Yes. On that note,
It was a short. I told everyone that if you think the prequel trilogy comes first in the order of what you watch Star Wars movies, you're wrong. It's Episode 4. That's
right.
Where you
That's
start.
how you start.
And the only thing everyone could agree on, other than neckbeard, was that the sequel trilogy sucked. Like, everyone who disagreed with everyone, they were like, yeah, but 7, 8, and 9, ugh.
Right. There you go.
I like them.
All right. Thank you for hanging out for a while. I know we're a bunch of talkers, we're a bunch of ramblers, but thanks for hanging out. And we have tables out there, and we got more stuff happening all weekend. Should be fun. All right.
Sunday.
That's right.
Can we get a photo?
Can we grab a quick selfie here before we leave?